So now we go to OH and we look at the southern market. And the theme, as you know, is about expanding the OH market and what's that the southern markets can take away from this particular pie. And I have with me very experienced and dynamic professionals. We have Deepa and Shalini from the agency side, and we have Suresh, who is representing a brand. And we are here to talk to you about the southern market. Of course, talking is not the only thing. We expect to have questions from you as well. So let's take a dive into the particular theme itself. While we are looking at a bigger bite from the south of the OH pie, let's actually have a look at what is this OH pie about, right? So if you look at expanding the OH pie per se, and we look at some of the data that we often come across, say for instance, I'd like to refer to the Pitch Madison report that came out in 2025. One thing that really comes out and is very distinct is that on the one side, digital media is leapfrogging, from about 5,000 crore, it has reached about 45,000 crore in a matter of 10 years and is having now a share of about 48%. The traditional channels of which we have print, radio, television, and of course OH, all of this collectively have now come to below 60%. When we look at the growth per se, interestingly, OH has grown at about 12% last year. Admittedly, the base might be smaller. The size of the industry has been estimated about 4,650 crore, which of course is a point of debate. Maybe there are many other formats in OH, which when you add that, this figure might be a little bigger, but that's another point of discussion. We'll not bring that in. So on the one side, you have the traditional media shrinking, but at the same time, OH seems to be growing from whatever base that is. So I would like to have, first up, the perspectives from you all on what do you read about this factor, about how is OH bucking the trend and what do you expect? So because we have a brand marketer, I would like to first turn to Suresh and have your thoughts on what do you think about OH? What is your particular experience? I do know for a fact that in your business, you have parked ad dollars on OH. At a given time, I think about 30% of your spends, 38% of your spends went into OH. Now, I'd like to know your particular experience and what do you think about the way that you view OH as it goes forward.
Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thanks for this opportunity. As the retail is changing, so we would like to do always 360 degrees marketing. So when it comes to the OH, it has taken the last year almost 38% as the only paid for the OH. And apart from that, printing is separate, again 3% to 4%. So it is taking a big chunk of my money compared to the any other medium. So what we're trying to do in the future is take. So we were discussing on the same thing and we were telling that we'll move to the little more digital compared to the OH only. So because of the ROI calculations as based on the, how the market is watching. So what we see in the roads, always people are watching all the mobiles only. And when it comes to the branding and all that, being a traditional market, we follow it because we have a traditional business from the 30 years as a legacy business. So we believe in the traditional marketing. That's the reason we are able to make it going forward. Whereas in the same way in the traditional market, we have very, very few things. One is hoardings, one is print, newspaper ads, and radio, etc. So whereas my huge budget used to go to the OH hoardings as well as the prints. For us now, the print has reduced after the COVID, post-COVID. Our prints budget has cut down drastically. So I have not seen any much huge difference happening into the business, existing stores as well as the new stores. So in the same way, we wanted to, this year, we are planning to reduce the outdoor media budgets and give that budgets to the new formats, new segments in the other way. So this is what conversation.
Well, I mean, to take that point from Suresh, I'd like to have your particular viewpoints, because you are representing specialist agencies. And one of the most important things that you would actually do is to actually attract brands to OH and to keep them engaged and to get them to spend more. But here is a person sharing his particular experience of having spent 38% of his budgets on OH, and suddenly he realizes that when people are out on the streets and they're constantly looking at their own personal digital screens, and perhaps their attention is not so much on the media. And in fact, Suresh has also, or rather his organization also conducted some general surveys from people as to what they noticed, and he was a little disillusioned from the fact that, some of them did not quite notice the hoarding up there where his particular creative was featured. Now, as a result, he's having a slightly a change of heart in not wanting to park so much of money in OH, but we do hope that going forward that he would actually change his mind. But to be able to get him to change his mind, and also for a whole lot of other brands to actually consider OH as a key channel to spend, what is it that is got to be done? Deepa first and then Shalini.
Sure. So actually it's surprising that you have kind of seen a downshift happening when it comes to out of home, right? Because if we have to see the industry trends, and because you mentioned on the traditional media per se, I'm not taking digital into consideration because that's the big daddy. We all know it's taking up the pie of the overall addicts. Outdoor has grown in 2 digits. That's the only media, it's gone to 12%, and next year we are pegging it to cross 5,000 crore mark, which itself is a big number. So I honestly feel that, I don't know if you have done your surveys, right? And I'm sure you must have had a third-party survey done. I would interestingly want to know where it didn't work. Was it the creative part of it? Was it the kind of media selection that was done? Was it the placement of media? I mean, outdoor is just... See, I'm from Bombay. And most of the brand marketers, they feel the world exists on Western Express Highway. Right? Like if my consumer may be somewhere in Thane, Vashi, I don't know if you understand that market, but it is very important where I'm placing my brand. If I'm in the consumer catchment and with the right messaging, with the right medium, that's where outdoor, kind of works the best. And nothing works better than outdoor when it comes to brand awareness. So it totally depends on the objective, along with creative and the media that we are taking. Which is why marketers are believing in outdoor. I'm sure, Shalini, you would also have a similar viewpoint. But we are seeing a positive shift happening from a lot of brands. So maybe you need specialist agencies like us.
Maybe we need to talk to both of us.
All right, Shalini, I think I'd last.
First thing is her volume is audible because she's very low. Is the volume audible for Deepa out there? Yeah, because then
Shalini, I would, in fact, get you to do some problem solving here.
Sure.
So here is a case of a brand marketer who, as I said, parked money in OH and suddenly discovered that it is not getting that audience connect. There's a problem. It needs to be solved. So Shalini, if you were to be in that position where you needed to solve this problem, not Suresh, go elsewhere and explore other media channels, what would you do?
So most importantly, first I'll analyze what did not work for him. See, outdoor, as she said correctly, and it's not just those billboards, hoardings, different kinds of media that's available. It's a mix, a combination of the creative, the placements, the contextual, the hyperlocal, what else you're running with outdoor. See, it's proven that there should be always a campaign should be on 2 medias. And outdoor plus digital has always been a great, gets good results. So just to say that my outdoor did not work, what did not work in the outdoor? Did you put a creative in which there's too much of text? Because a lot of people say, ki billboard, I have got a billboard, I have to cover it all. I have to get the money ROI by giving them all the information. I'm just saying, due respect to your creative team and you. But the best of the brands fail there, The brand's logo will be somewhere down. Don't put it down, just put it on the top and put it on 2 places, because what if the tree is on the side, What if the vision is not? Because they have 7 seconds. The consumer which crossing has 7 seconds to look at your creatives on billboards or hoardings. How are you catching their attention? The first thing about billboards is it's a curiosity maker. It creates curiosity. Then the consumer goes on digital, print or wherever, especially digital, to understand the brand. And then the purchase happen. Have you generated the curiosity enough about what you want to do by using the billboards? Even which kind of media you have used? What was your campaign objective? Was there a sale? Was there a launch? Was there just a brand recall? Was just a new market? So it depends a lot on the strategy of your agency. I don't know your agency.
Well, Suresh,
So I don't know.
let's hear from him. Now that you've heard this particular view, that perhaps you should have invested a little bit more in the way the planning had to be, the way the creatives had to be organized, and then perhaps get a very, very organized way to get that feedback. Okay? So my question to you is, would you actually consider these as inputs that will actually make you to look at OH with greater intent?
No, obviously, whatever they have said, there's nothing wrong in it. So usually when we spend huge amounts, so those are the basic things what everybody watch. So what you said is, tree coming and all. So that's a part of the agency who has to cut it, trim it, that's their job. We don't see that job. When it comes to the logo, yes, definitely every logo is placed on the top. That's we are into the family mall. I'll tell you, we are based out of the Hyderabad. Okay. Usually, whereas, the hoardings, bigger hoardings has been removed in Hyderabad. So there was only metro pillars and only at the airports. Only metro.
Yeah, metro portals and.
So that is the most visibility where nobody can even, but whereas the hoardings, everything has cut down, the expenses has gone up. The tariffs has gone up drastically. That is the reason it is fitting in my 40% budget. Before it wasn't sitting in these budgets. Whereas as we look in the retail format of 360 degrees, so we wanted to capture every young audience also. So that is the reason where we wanted to shift the category is towards the youngsters. We wanted to capture them in the digital format.
So the product and the TG and the campaign objective is very different. It's not basically the failure of outdoor, I guess so.
And
Because
if you're looking for younger audiences, it's just not, obviously outdoor is the way to do it, but you need to catch them where they are present for more dwell time. It could be in a mall setup, it could be in a metro, inside a metro.
inside a metro, yeah.
So
They are in the concerts actually.
Yeah, but they take metros to go to the concerts. A lot of brands don't use the inside train branding. They must use it when they're having young TG.
All right,
And
so
even in
we will get to
concerts.
the formats part in due course in this conversation. But I just want to get to Suresh and ask him this particular question that, as an industry, we all want more and more advertisers to come and start using OH, and the number of advertisers must grow. Now, Suresh, your brand, at which point did you think that OH was a good proposition and a good, medium to use for your building your consumer connect? Did you watch other brands and take this decision, or what was it like? Were you influenced by the advertising of your competition or other brands that actually made you to look at OH with great intent when you did that?
See, that's what, basically when we started observing the other brands. So in the South region, AP and Telangana, we are the top most spenders in the marketing, advertisement. So we spend approx 70 crores a year. So in that 70 CR a year we spend. So whereas we have seen a lot of other brands who doesn't even spend so much, and they do the great sales. Like example, Zudio has come up. I've never seen a Zudio putting up a hoarding. I've never seen a Zudio as putting up in the paper print ad. So the whole concept is little different, where they're trying to change the concept, getting the price points very clear, getting the product right, and the way they're showcasing the stores are equal to the hoardings. The number of hoardings you see, the number of stores are available now. So the odds are changing in the markets also. So that is what we're trying to understand in a lot of new brands coming. Everybody is doing good enough. It doesn't matter if it's a small brand, it's a new startup, everybody is doing that. They're only focusing on the digital. They're not on the traditional market. Traditional markets, everything comes at what.
You have various products?
We have a family stores.
Family stores you have.
So you
All
spend,
right. So here is, we get a sense of what brings his brand to OH. And obviously, he has looked at other brands that were there and using it well, right? At the same time, what he's suggesting is that he would, as a brand, look at 360-degree advertising, which would mean that OH has to be part of a plan rather than look at it in isolation. All right. Now, from a specialist agency point of view, I want to ask this question that, how do we increase the number of advertisers for OH? Because that's something that is of importance to this industry as a whole.
So, are you talking for a southern market per se or at a national?
Generally, because what applies at the national level definitely applies to the regional level as well.
No, I think definitely brands are increasing, and I'm highly optimistic when it comes to out of home as a format because.
Why do you see that is increasing? Anything that you can substantiate?
Yeah, like I started the discussion saying that the share has increased, the spends have increased. We have come in double digits, right? Like globally, outdoor has grown at 6%. In India, it's 12%. If I have to look at traditional formats, outdoor is the highest growing medium. So there is no reason for me to not believe that it's not working. Somewhere, some things we are doing right. And we have all the necessary data points to prove it. Coming back to your point, how can we make brands spend more into outdoor? Yes, data forever we've been discussing. So that is one discussion I would like to address at the end because we've had endless meetings on data set points. Another would be the media quality. Coming back to your point where you said you had a campaign only in Hyderabad. We all know it's kind of a media dark market now. Could be the dynamics would have been different if the aesthetics would have been better, media opportunities would have been more. Like we told you, you could have tapped your consumer inside a metro. There could have been various touch points where we could have tapped what is the journey of that consumer, day in life of that consumer, how they start their day, what do they do in the morning, how many times are they exposed to your medium during the day. You know, all that kind of science we put into our planning. And basis that we give you an ROI. ROI basis our understanding, like where my consumer is, what are the P1 and P5 locations, priority 1 to 5, where all do they visit, in which pockets are they? And by giving the right data points with the right media selection and what your competition again is doing in those markets, or if you want to peg them against the national average, how are they spending in other markets, we can give you all those data points.
Right. So, I just want to kind of, bring it down to the southern spectrum. And, brands such as what Suresh represents are the brands that actually have the potential of pushing up OH business in the southern region in a big way, right? He has just shared the experience. At an overall level, we talk about the southern region, and these are data points that we have discussed over the years whenever we did the South India Talks OH conference, is that the southern region accounts for 30% of the national GDP. It has got a high per capita income, the average growth is faster than the national average. Rate of urbanization is high, infrastructure growth is good, and all of these economic fundamentals that are very supportive of robust economies, that is true of southern region. However, when you look at the OH spends in this particular market, they don't seem to add up. There seems to be a disconnect between the economic robustness of the region, the industrialization, the vibrant commercial markets versus OH spends. So that definitely is a gap. I want to understand from Shalini first and then from Deepa that why this gap, and is that gap due to the way the media presents itself, or are there any other issues? Shalini, please.
So this is a very deep question, and we all the time keep discussing about it in our groups also, in our meetings also. Though, from the company perspective, I have to say Lakshya is very well represented in South. We have offices all across in all the states of South. And but we still feel that we can get a bigger pie of what we do nationally. And when we look down to it, looking at different states, what they have the most important factor, and the factor which pulls us down, is that the media formats are not big. Like he said in Hyderabad, he used to do hoardings, billboards, he used to use the campaign for the big hoardings, and when big hoardings went away, his spends reduced. Same way, so you have issue in Bangalore. Bangalore has been fighting for it from 7-8 years. It got banned. My running campaign was pulled down. I'm sure all of our people's campaign just got pulled down, and hoardings got blocked, and it has been said that hoardings will come back. So what happens to a brand? Now they find that it is difficult. So whenever I'm talking to somebody from a brand manager who is from North, they will just say, Bangalore mein to there is nothing, right? I said, no, there is. We will find you something. So there is a total ignorance of what kind of media is available, because the media landscape has changed a lot in the bigger cities. So other cities, there's so much of changes in policies of the government, when we especially run in campaigns in certain cities, you have got the media out there, tomorrow it will be down. Why? You ask the local team what happened. No, the municipal corporation has just removed that, and they say they don't want anything from here now. And this happens so rampant in South. So those things, if the government relooks at the policy and establish a robust policy for getting outdoor, because there's a lot of tax that these outdoor agencies are paying, the vendors are paying, and we are able to uniform it and create bigger, not just very big, but impactful, rightly placed options of hoardings and billboards and gantries and all. There will be a lot of brands would like to invest. One is that. Second is, of course, the language. We have various languages across South. So what happens is most of the brand heads, the marketing teams are sitting of bigger brands, though we do have brands like Tanishq and Toyota and all sitting out of Bangalore, but there are a lot who are sitting out of West and North. So for them to understand that how the creative will represent in various languages, because language plays extremely important role in the outdoor. So if you have to have in Chennai, it has to be in Tamil. If in Bangalore, Kannada, the part of Telugu should come in. When you're in Hyderabad, AP, you should have part of Malayalam. So most of the time, they lose the narrative in translation and they're not able to understand. They said, when I don't get it, let me reduce my percentage of what I want to invest in that region because I don't get it. So they go to a comfort zone where they're confident of, because finally they have to give an answer to their CFO or to the CMOs that what is the return on investment that I have done. So they say, okay, fine, I really don't get it so much. So because there's so much of complexities. So hence we keep educating them, but there is one of the two factors which I like to place.
All right, Deepa, let's hear, what is required to be done. As far as the regulatory environment is concerned, there's precious little that the industry can do. Whatever had to be done had been done. Take Bangalore or any other city. Let's limit ourselves to the southern region for now. So we'll keep aside the regulatory challenges. When it comes to the media that is available, whether it is large format or whether it's bus shelters or a variety of other formats that are available, you have pointed out certain particular challenges. Now, I'd like to know from you, Deepa, and which is important for a very large number of media-owning firms that are represented here, to know what are the 5 things that media-owning firms operating in the southern markets need to be doing in order to get a greater share of the business that specialist agencies bring to the market.
I think, again, I'm just deviating from the core point of the spends are not happening as much. Yes, it is less as compared to Mumbai, Delhi, or the average that we have. My data point tells me, and I'm quoting this from Tom Addicts, where it is very evident that the spends have increased in southern markets. So, and like I said, something is happening, right? We are paying 30-35 lakhs for a billboard in Bangalore. So it's not that brands don't want to spend or we are finding a challenge when it comes to the media. Media aesthetics have to be good. Point number 1, I totally
if you say media aesthetics, can you just elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, it should be bigger in size. It should be clutter-free, like the basics that we need. We are not expecting anything out of the world. We don't want to do a projection on moon. We know it is not possible. We want good, decent quality media because any brand would not want to be positioned themselves next to anything which is not good in nature. I'm sure you would agree with me. So yes, aesthetics, definitely we would need better. We are willing to pay more for it. I think one most important thing which is there, we need to get better at selling. National agencies like us, we somewhere find that challenge. I think, sir...
Are you saying that media-owning firms need to step up their own marketing?
Yes.
Build their own visibility?
I think it's me sitting in Bombay and somewhere me, Shalini, we are all decision makers. We know where to put the monies, which media will work for the brand. We are the brand custodians. Your responsibility is on us. So we need to peg those budgets with the right media owners on the right kind of formats that we are taking, right? So if I am not aware of what media is available in each of these markets, I won't be able to sell it. And I think the sir who just finished the session, he also very clearly said that you need to up your game. You just can't put a contact number on a billboard and expect me to go and sell it to my client. I get availability, like tons of mail every day. I'm not going to go and deep dive into each one of it. You need to come. We need to go together as a team and sell it to our clients. We need to go with I don't want to be a gatekeeper for you. I want to be your partner. I need to go and sell it along with you with the right data points that we have. So definitely aesthetics, yes. And the selling skills have to improve. I'm not going on the regulations and everything because you've asked me not to touch upon that. And most importantly, yes, with the kind of data sets that are available with us right now, we are able to sell this media with more conviction, at least agencies like us, where we have a lot of data points available to make our clients believe that outdoor definitely works. And when it comes to brand awareness, there is no other media than outdoor. So yeah, I would like to leave the audience with these
A quick
points.
point from Suresh on what would you set as expectations, either when you're engaging directly with the media owner or from the agency?
So I'll come to the straight point. Now what we started seeing is challenging in the printing, changing in a multiple times. That's what we keep seeing compared to the quicker. So not everything will be quick enough. So what we start understanding is, instead of the billboards into the static, we are expecting in the future with a lot of digitalization, so that we think we change it in a quicker and faster way. That's the only thing, that makes, not everywhere it's not possible because the costing goes very high. Whereas, instead of one user, you can have a multiple users. That is what we keep seeing in the digital screens now. The bigger boards also comes in a digital format that makes faster and, quick to adopt creative wise, as well as what's working, what is not working. If I start seeing a big hoardings, if I wanted to change, that's a costing again, it's a huge cost. So that pinches for everybody, any retailer it pinches. And it is not that quick also, mindset won't change to change the creative faster. If it is a digitalization, it might be helpful for everybody. That is what we are also expecting as a retailer.
Excellent. Shalini, a couple of suggestions from you.
Yeah, so adding to what he's saying, that I think a lot of DOH are coming up, digitalization is coming up. But again, as you must understand that there is a regulations for that, because a flickering image is a risk to the traffic goers and the drivers and all that. So I think there was something in Banjara Hills and all, they stopped the digital. So there has to be very carefully planned. It cannot be on the main junctions, or if it is there, they don't allow. In Bombay, they're very strict what kind of media is allowed. So we are looking towards DOH, but but again, you're sharing the space. So that means when your consumer is crossing and your video comes up, great. Otherwise, you lost it, because you're one of 6 or one of 12. I don't know. But when you have a static one, you have the 100% mind space for the consumer to watch you. Yeah, there is a change of creatives and all, and of course there is a cost attached to it. But then you have a 100% thing. And outdoor, especially, like we saw one video of one of the sponsors. I think Avinashi, when you looked at Hebbal, who was from Bangalore, it looked beautiful. That's what outdoor does. It beautifies the landscape. It's you cannot skip it. You cannot ignore it. It is there. The brand reaches your consumer through outdoor.
Excellent. I don't know how much time we really have, but it'll be nice if we have a couple of questions from the audience. Take advantage of them being on the desk.
I think we have answered all.
Is that
Question one or two, we would love to hear your.
Either we have answered all, or it's like, leave it.
all right? Nimisha, how are we doing on time? Are we up? Right? Okay. So thank you so much, Deepa, Shalini, and Suresh, for a very, very engaging session and for giving us very valuable suggestions. I'm sure many of these will be acted upon. And the next time we get together for South India Talks OH, we can see a lot of forward movement on all of these things. So once again, thank you so much. Thank you for your attention. Thank you.